and it's killing me.
Welcome back to the Steve Patterson Project, episode 8, and a special thanks to everyone who watched my Greatest Bits Volume 1 show on Side Door Access last week. The rest of you, as you know, are dead to me. But not my virtual audience. I could never stay mad at you. Thank you so much for joining us. Some of you again, some of you for the first time, some of you former guests of the show. And that is how you get to be future guests of the show. Let's start in New Brunswick, because that's where all good things start, where a lack of temporary foreign workers has resulted in some school-age children working in lobster processing plants. True story. Apparently, this new labor policy was written by the new New Brunswick Labor Minister, Charles Dickens. Now that's a joke that says, "Please, sir, I want some more." And so we'll provide it. This past Monday, parks in British Columbia were open to camping reservations, and so many people attempted to book online, the website crashed. Would-be campers were outraged by the lack of technology, which is a strange reaction for people who consider shiting in a shed a vacation. This past weekend, thousands of people flocked to Trinity Bellwoods Park in Toronto to bask in the warm weather, completely ignoring social distance guidelines. The parkgoers were immediately criticized online for their reckless and dangerous behavior, and Toronto Mayor John Tory ended up issuing a written apology, since apparently he himself was at the park to try to determine why things were the way they were, which sounds exactly like something someone smoking a bong at a park would say. He then explained that he wore a mask into the park but failed to use it properly. I'm guessing because it would have blocked the bong? I don't know what this means, but I can tell you this. John Tory is not the bong-smoking Toronto mayor. That was the last guy.
Yes.
In sad jazz news, and really, is there any other kind of jazz news? Jimmy Cobb, the drummer on Miles Davis's classic record Kind of Blue, passed away this week. He is fondly remembered by the millions who have listened to the album and the tens of millions who claim to have listened to the album to impress a first date. Lingerie chain Victoria's Secret will close approximately 250 stores in North America due to the effects of the lockdown, which is really a shame considering they already have the inventory they need in today's market. Yeah, it is a shame. I guess that company just can't think outside the box. One of my favorites. We got a nod from Nick. That's all that I care. According to Variety.com, a Bolivian orchestra is stranded in a haunted German castle surrounded by wolves right now. And no, I did not read the rest of the article because A, it's Variety, and B, this is the greatest headline I've ever seen, and I selfishly hope they're never rescued so I can read the next headline on this story: German castle haunted by Bolivian orchestra ghosts who were eaten by wolves. Can't wait. A group of robbers in Louisa, Virginia wore watermelons as masks during a robbery this week. True story. Oh, robbery. So needless and so seedless. That's exactly what we were hoping for. Speaking about being robbed, Air Canada announced this week that CEO Callan Rovinescu's total compensation will be just $5.8 million this year due to the revenue loss brought by the pandemic. I know you hear a story like this and it makes you angry that they didn't also provide an address to send a condolence card or bouquet to.
Yeah.
Well, rest assured, we have the Air Canada head office mailing address, and I would encourage everyone to send Mr. Rovinescu a nice card to help him through this troubling time. Here's mine, written on leftover Air Canada altitude credits. Dear Mr. Rovinescu, I heard the news about your compensation being slashed to just $6 million. I am so sorry that you're going through this. I know it will be difficult not being able to live the lifestyle you were accustomed to. having myself had all of my live shows for the remainder of this year and the foreseeable future canceled, many of which I was going to fly to on Air Canada. Flights which, by the way, were not refunded, but given banked credit for future flights that may now never happen. And it would be selfish of me to not share these lucrative credits. So please find enclosed several Air Canada flight credits. Good to fly you anywhere Air Canada flies, which right now, remember, is nowhere. These are just like money, except they hold no value whatsoever. Unlike your $5.8 million, which I'm sure is the amount Air Canada will try to charge everyone to fly anywhere the second this pandemic is over. Yours truly, Steve Patterson.
Okay, well done.
And that's the monologue for this week. Thank you again, virtual audience, for not being here.
And it's killing me.